We just in it. Welcome to the Liquid Latenites Podcast. We're just here to entertain you. I promise. You're gonna laugh. I promise.
Wow.
Nothing bad's going on. America. How y'all doing?
No comment.
It's all good.
It's all good.
What's the first thing you listed? So you congratulate. It's the 2nd of February, so it's beginning of Black History Month, or is
In
it
Black History Month.
All right.
Listen, it's a time that we can all get to reflect on history, go back and learn something new. I'm going to try to bring some extra, some quick tidbits in the coming weeks. Just get a little bit of knowledge. There's nothing wrong with that. Knowledge is power. Learning something doesn't make things bad.
Can you help me out with something on this one right quick?
Sure.
Why do we have Black History Month?
Why do I think we have it, or why do we have it?
No, why do we have it? There's a reason.
Because at one point, because we don't really talk about the historical contributions of Black people in this country for a very long time. At some point, somebody thought it was politically expedient to make that happen. People pushed and fought, and now kind of people are pushing back. But a lot of these things were not taught in regular school, even though it's just regular American history. Just happened to be taught by people who were a little darker than everybody else. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty well. That's put in a nutshell. But the guy who started it was a professor named Carter G. Woodson, and it was initially called Negro History Week. And this was in like 1921. And his rationale was because what happened in the 1920s in the U.S., basically they redid all the history books and basically took everybody out of who wasn't of European ancestry and stuff. So it seems like that nobody else made any real contribution to up until that time to the formation of the United States. And so he decided he put the book out, and it had this small amount of time about to try to at least talk about some of the contributions. And then about the 70s, I think it moved from Negro History Week to Black History or Negro History Month, which to me, I think it's good, but at the same time, I sometimes I don't think it really gives the whole thing. They'll give you an entertainer, they'll give you an athlete, and some first doing something, but it never really explains why that first had to be. The reason that person was only first in the 1950s and 1960s because they was basically denied it. Nobody ever says that.
It's about the context.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, yeah. So
they don't teach the context. You get the, George Washington Carver. Or
yeah. You finally after 400 years pull yourself up by your bootstrap, and there you go. Anyway, so but it's a good thing to do. Well, pretty much.
No, you're right.
So, but there's a lot of good things they do. There's a lot of programs going along. A lot of young people can learn some because sometimes we assume that because we know a certain thing that the simplest stuff people don't know, and so it's good for that for the young people. You know what I mean? I know a lot of church programs do things like that. Elementary schools do it. They can do it, with people don't want them to do it anymore. So these anti-DEI people or whatever that story is. So it's still a good. And overall, it's a good thing. I guess I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of segue into the review real quick, because it kind of goes along with it. So I just finished the book I got for Christmas, the Black AF History, which may not show up on this thing because America. The unwhitewashed story of America by Michael Heriot. He's a renowned journalist and commentator. It's a really great read, and it kind of takes you through the history in like a breezy, fun, but also, he's telling the truths of things that happened from the first time we stepped on this continent through today, but in a like kind of fast-paced, fun. We're going to talk about these things that you know how this is going down. So I really enjoyed it. I was enjoying it so much, I bought it for my mom for Christmas, and she was very excited.
What's the name of the book? Again?
Black AF History by Michael Heriot. And he goes about the South Carolina, the Geechee, that time, all the slave rebellions, all the, entrepreneurs are coming up, politicians, just that kind of whole everything. It was a really great read. And it's just funny that, like, going back to getting it for my mom for Christmas, the funny part is she's like, and you notice they didn't really talk about that when you're coming up in school. It was like a kind of a class, but not really.
There was no class at all when I was there, so I don't know. Maybe when you guys came,
he said there was a class. I was like, really? I don't know, man. So
I'm trying to think. What did they call it? That would be the next question.
Yeah, like Afro study-ish. Afro.
They had not at Hampstead High School. First time I ever seen anything like that was not even at when I went to community college. It was at USF.
Yeah.
So maybe they had no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you decided to read it, and I think it's good. I think it's for people who want to get that kind of historical perspective, but don't want to get like it's a breezy, like it's quick. Like I read it and it's quick. Like sometimes I get bogged down in things quick, and he's got citations. He's got a whole thing. It's like, listen, you want to get some deeper dives? These are the books you can go read. This place you can go. He's got a couple of recipes in there. I don't know why he put the recipes in there, but I'm going to try some of them.
How in the Hog recipes?
Oh, he got some chicken bog. Y'all ever heard of that?
No.
It sounded like paella, but it sounded good, and then a nice fried chicken recipe. Because listen, we ain't going to be mad. We like fried chicken. But I would highly recommend this book. Get it on audio. I think he reads
it's a New York Times bestseller, huh? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
I never even heard of it. When was it? It's 23.
This guy's good. I've been listening. I've been reading his stuff for a while. He is. You see him on. He's good. Like he knows his stuff. They don't mess with him.
They don't mess with him.
They don't mess with him. His Twitter profile talk about what's he's a championship spades player. He never reneged and never will. So that's what I'm saying. He's good dude. But I enjoyed the book. I think y'all would like it. I'll check it out and get that started out. I think I'm going to finally do 1619 Project because I do have it on the backlog here. So
in the audio,
no, I'm going to read it.
I listened to the audio. Plus, I watched the movie also. Yeah, it's really good. It's worth. It's just so much stuff in there to unpack. Mm-hmm. It's over time. It's just because I always wonder why I was such an uproar about it from the quote unquote the right or the middle to the right, and it's because she wasn't really lambasting anybody. She wasn't blaming anybody. She wasn't doing any of those things. She was just informing people. And I think that's what the problem was. She was just telling stuff.
Yeah.
Very simply.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got a hard book. I've never, for me, and y'all can tell me if you've done it differently. Like I know audiobooks are a thing, but I never really got into them. Like in that terms. Like if I'm going to do a book, I'm reading a book.
Well, like I'll listen but I like audiobooks. Yeah. I used to use audiobooks when I was commuting a lot when I lived in the West Coast. So sometimes like you're in a car a long time, you want to either do some sales training or you do somebody with a good story or some historical stuff and put it on that way because audio music sometimes it's not good. So audiobooks I got into some really good stuff. I mean, I had audiobook actually when it was a cassette audio collection of Bill Gates when he talked about his upbringing and stuff, and I went through all that stuff that people like him. I used to listen to Tony Robinson stuff all the time. It's a lot of good stuff. But so I did it again. I was in the car for a long time, commuting 30, 40 miles one way a day on the Los Angeles freeway. You're going to be out there for a while.
Yeah, I think it does whatever works best for your flow and how you get that kind of information into you. Do it. For me, when I was commuting, I was doing a lot of podcasts. I didn't use a lot of audiobooks because books I always felt like I wanted to sit down and read it. Like I made a commitment to myself this year to do 25 books by the end of the year. I think I might be able to beat that, but I want to go through that and kind of make that happen. Like 5 books a quarter.
Well, a good podcast is telling a story is good because I've listened to some murder mystery, different ones on podcasts, and they were good too. Even the one that Ramona Shelburne did about the Sterling affair was a 6-part. It was excellent. So if you're in the car, you just otherwise your music stops. If you join it every day, it's better to try to feed yourself and stuff like that. I just Peter Drucker, all these kind of guys. Sometimes I have so much stuff by the time I made it to my office. I was so pumped up that I just walked in charge and I can charge my team. You know what I mean? Just do it like that. But anyway, that's where we are at. That's a good thing, man. Maybe I'll look at that book.
Check it out.